To Falling next, the Viggo Mortensen debut as a director. Pretty interesting that we get to see a directorial debut and a Viggo Mortensen debut, and I see them very differently in terms of movies. I don't know
You
about you,
think?
Dave. Yeah, but Falling looks at Viggo Mortensen as a son of a older man who is dealing with autism or autism. Jeez, I'm so stuck on music. Dealing with
Alzheimer's or
Alzheimer's,
dementia,
dementia,
something. Aging.
and kind of looking at their relationship as he tries to support his aging father. Um, and it's a difficult relationship. So Viggo Mortensen plays John. His dad Willis is played by Lance Henriksen, and also played earlier or in flashback scenes by Sphere Gudnason. Gudnason, and he looks just like Viggo Mortensen. There were like parts where I had to I was
Yeah,
actually wondering if they just did the de aging on him.
I
It's
did it a
kind of
few times
crazy.
too.
Um, but I found this movie to be pretty good. If I had to give it a rating at 1 to 10, I'd probably put like a 6 or 7. I think there's a lot of moments that are really, really strong in this movie, and then just some choices I was left kind of confused by. Where do you stand with Falling?
So I thought. Yeah, Severe Goodinson was the guy who played Borg in Borg vs. McEnroe.
Oh, wow.
Knew
Okay.
we had seen him before. Um, yeah, Falling is a really tough hang, in my opinion, and I think it's well intentioned, but I, not that I'd say it's sloppy, but I just it feels awfully one note, and I don't really understand like the narrative investment the audience is supposed to have in this.
Mhm.
Like, I like Viggo Mortensen. Criticisms of Green Book aside, he's a good actor. He should be directing movies at this point. Why not? That's great.
Yeah.
But this one just made me raise an eyebrow a few times. Like, he said that this is like loosely inspired by him caring for his parents when they were older. Yet he's not a gay man. So the fact that he wanted to be a gay person,
Hmm.
married gay man with adoptive daughter in this film, like, I think that that was clearly done to highlight the kind of obviousness of like the bigot that is his dad in the film.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you have a tighter screenplay, you don't need to do that. Make that
Hmm.
choice.
Yeah.
So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But either way, take that to the side. I just think Willis is just kind of irredeemable the whole time. Like, he's a piece of shit in the flashbacks. He's a piece of shit as an old man who's losing his marbles. Why am I supposed to care about this relationship? I'm surprised they even have a relationship still.
Hmm.
Like, he's a bad dad, he's a bad husband. Case closed. I don't get it.
Yeah. I think I was a little bit more um I don't know. I wouldn't say sympathetic to Willis, but I think I understood more how he kind of got to the point he did. I mean, it seems like there's probably some mental health issues. He seems quite paranoid in a lot of the
Mhm.
movie. I mean, not
Yeah.
only when he's older, but even the younger uh, times that you see him. I think it's interesting because the movie gets to a point where you kind of are just like, I just have to listen to this guy berate anyone that's different from him. I mean, making fun of gay people, making fun of anyone that's not American, making fun of hippies, people that aren't
Mhm. Yeah.
salt of the earth type people. It's just he hates everything, and
Right.
um, the moments that you're kind of I think waiting for come at the end in the form of his father comforting him when he didn't feel like he could take a shot at a buck in a clearing, or his father kind of saying like, that was actually my fault. I should have fixed that bath a while
Yeah.
ago, and I made some more coffee for you. And those moments just don't feel like enough in some way, but at the
No
same
way.
time, that almost I almost appreciate that it felt very ultra realistic to dealing with someone like this person. I
Sure.
think there's a lot of people like this, not necessarily in this situation. And I agree. I think the choice for him to be a gay man was just to create more inflammatory tension and maybe didn't need to be the choice. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with the choice. It's there are gay men who have this sort of relationship with their father, I'm sure.
Hmm.
But I do feel like those like release moments aren't necessarily as satisfying as I'd hoped they'd be, but they were still really nice. I'd say.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I guess it was also weird because I felt like the movie kind of jumps around at points. Like you get that scene where Willis disappears from the diner or wherever they're eating, and he goes to the water and he's having this flashback, and then he's
Hmm.
in the water, and then all of a sudden he's just sitting across from Laura Linney, and they're having a conversation. He's ripping into her children, and
Right.
I was just like, wait, what? Like I wanted to kind
Yeah.
of understand what the fallout
I
was
mean,
there.
to me, I would have liked more, or sorry, I would have liked more Vigo and less flashbacks.
Mm,
I feel like the flashbacks kind of like were predictable. Like as he's growing up, you kind of get the beats, and again, because Willis is pretty one note, nothing is really that illuminating. But Vigo, for the most part, just kind of like taking it from his dad, not giving in, and taking the bait until the end when he flashes back out. That's really it. He doesn't actually have a lot to chew on. You know, like he's that one scene where they both kind of go at each other, but it's kind of over fast, and that's it. And I think if we had more time in the present, you would have had more scenes where you would see the other side and understand this love beyond like, oh, I made some coffee. Sorry for being a complete dipshit again last night. Like
hmm
I think it's just kind of awkwardly paced, and the main goals of the film have a hard time landing because of that pacing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there were some parts I really thought were well done. You mentioned like the scene where he gets to kind of like yell at the dad, and that I think just like the brewing of it all, like the fact that it really is like how much can this adult character take before he just kind of like lashes back, and he finally did, and you're kind of like, geez, thank God. But like, um, I do kind of wish that we had gotten maybe one more,
Yeah,
I don't know, satisfying scene. It just kind of felt like you're kind of left with this, like, man, fuck that guy type feeling to
yeah,
it. And yeah, like you said, there's no redeeming qualities to Willis at all. So Laura Linney gets like a really the quick scene, but
and again, she's doing the same thing as Vigo, just like not taking the bait, just
mhm,
completely entertaining his terrible behavior for no reason. At least the kids are like, fuck this,
yeah.
like,
I guess, like you said, it would have been nice to see a scene, I guess, where you kind of see Vigo as like a younger adult, kind of being like, "Man, I hate this guy, but like I feel like I need to like be there for him in some sense." Like kind of
mhm,
bridging that gap because you really see like the flashbacks end when he's a teenager. Um, Also, I thought it was really interesting and I guess very telling of the Willis character, that kind of harkening back to that, like what do you think, or like what do you see before you die type thing. He just sees himself with his first wife having sex, nothing to do with his kids, which like completely I mean completely on par for that character, but just kind of
yeah,
like, man, that's so gut wrenching that he just really didn't seem to care about them like that.
right, yeah. I mean, I feel like there was one thing that I like was entertained by the most. It would just be that Willis had a really like crass sense of humor. He would talk about taking shits and stuff all the time. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, what do you say? Pinch a loaf? He's like, I'm gonna go pinch a loaf. Like, it's like, "That's nice." Like, sure.
When
Um,
he left his glasses and he like brings it closer. He's, where'd you leave him? Where'd you leave him? The shitter.
yeah. Yeah, I guess that was like some of the levity, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Also, I really appreciate Laura Linney's daughter just being like, "Yeah, I'm not afraid of this guy." Like,
Yeah.
it's like nice,
Right.
good. There's no reason to be. That seems pretty
Right.
harmless. I
Right.
guess he
Right.
does like actually try to beat up Viggo Mortensen at one point, but I don't know. Following, I would recommend it because I think there's a lot of like crumbs here that Vigo's going to be probably a much better director in the
Hmm.
future, but it's still a
Also,
pretty good
shout
movie.
out David Cronenberg cameo as the doctor
Hell
randomly
yeah,
doing
yeah,
the colonoscopy.
sure.